is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
Big balls indeed. Man, these guys are all worked up. Thanks for joining another episode of Spark the Conversation. This is your host, Mark the Spark, bringing you today's news. Well, we're constantly making adjustments here, trying to get a better picture out of this camera. And we got the lighting, I think, toned down a little bit. Sound, I think we're getting keyed in on. So let me know if you think this is working, or improvements we could make. Always looking to make some adjustments if you give me some feedback. Anyways, we have some clips to cover, and it's getting a little bit late tonight. So I'm going to do a little less talking, a little more clips, see if we can run through this stuff. We got some border to cover. We've got some Elon Musk derangement syndrome going on for sure. Attacks on DOGE. The attacks of the people who are scared of what they're going to find getting into the USAID. A little bit of more transgender stuff showing how crazy these lunatics are, even if they're parents of some of these people. And what else do we got here? I think that really covers it pretty well. So Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, is getting right into the mix, and we got some Department of Education getting locked down, which is a sign maybe that of things to come. So let's see our first little clip here. We'll just start off with the transgender mom who's got two transgender kids, and we got Dr. Peterson tuning in to tell us what he thinks the odds are of this woman having these kids the way she says they are.
I am a volunteer with Equality Kansas, but I'm here today on behalf of my family. I'm a mother of 4. I'm a Kansan, and 2 of my children are receiving gender-affirming care.
Here, we'll do a little bit of arithmetic. So, a while back, Disney executive mentioned on video, she said, well, I have 2 children, 5 and 7. One is trans and the other is pansexual. And I just thought mathematically right away, it's like the chance you have a trans kid is 1 in 3,000. That's not a very high chance. And let's say the chance that you have a pansexual kid is the same, whatever pansexual means. But whatever that is rarer than trans, because no one ever even heard about it until 5 years ago. So the joint probability that you have a trans kid and a pansexual kid is 1 in 9 million. The odds that you're a pathological narcissist sacrificing your own children to the glorification of your compassion is 8,999,999 to 1. So, like, do you have a trans kid and a pansexual kid, or are you a devouring mother? Well, you can look at the odds and decide for yourself.
Well, we got Dr. Jordan Peterson laying down some facts, doing some simple math, some simple arithmetic, if you will, saying the likelihood is not that that lady has a transgender and a non-binary or whatever she calls the other kid, that she's a narcissist and she's basically torturing these kids. She's imposed a radical ideology on them. We should feel bad for the kids and pray for them that they could find some kind of peace at some point before she destroys their lives. Anyways, New York State, my great home state, or People's Republic of New York, as I like to call it. Our governor, Kathy Hochul, the Honorable Kathy Hochul, she is talking about the bird flu. Now, we're supposed to be worried about the bird flu because they have some, not wet markets, but bird markets, probably illegal downstate. They don't seem interested in enforcing the law here in the People's Republic. But she is concerned about the bird flu going around, and now there's some people with it. We shouldn't be concerned yet, but do be careful. You know, there might be some quarantines. Where have we heard this before?
Good morning. I want to give an update to New Yorkers on a potential health issue that's been detected in our state. Over the last week, inspectors have detected 7 cases of bird flu in poultry during routine inspections at live bird markets in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens. Our state Egg and Markets is now working closely with market owners to depopulate all infected flocks. Out of an abundance of caution and to thwart any further transmission, we're issuing a notice and order to temporarily shut down all live bird markets in New York City, as well as in Westchester, Nassau, and Suffolk counties. The order is effective today through next Friday, February 14th. Here's what that means. For a week-long period, no poultry can be delivered to those live bird markets. Each uninfected market must sell down all inventory, undergo thorough cleaning and disinfection, and then remain closed for at least 5 days. Each must then be inspected by our state egg and markets before they can reopen. These are just simply measured, common sense steps that'll curb the spread of bird flu and ultimately to keep New Yorkers safe, which is always my top priority. Now I want to reiterate that people should not be concerned. Let me be clear, there is no immediate public health threat. We have been vigilant and will remain vigilant.
So common sense steps that we're going to take, right? Yeah, we're going to remain vigilant. We had to take a couple of the birds and kill a bunch of them, so your chicken prices might go up a little bit. You know, we're just being proactive. Like they killed Peanut the squirrel proactively here too recently because, you know, they had to behead it to tell if it had rabies or not, even though it was domesticated in somebody's house. And there was no way it could have had rabies. Or, you know, they just could have kept it in a cage and observed it for a while and then given it back alive. But, you know, in the People's Republic, we don't really do that kind of thing. There's no respecting people's property or rights. We take first and ask questions later. So I just have one thing to say about that. You think we're going to go through this again? War. That's what I have to say about that. Because we ain't doing this again. You think we're falling for that again? I'll take my chance with the bird flu, lady. And don't think you're going to give me no jab either. That ain't happening. So, we ain't having any of that. Of course, there's a lot of freak out about Elon Musk, too, and DOGE and what they've been doing. But Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, has made it pretty clear that they're working within the authorization of either nominated and approved cabinet members, positions that have been confirmed by the Senate, or underneath the authority of the president.
Here with U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in Washington. Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining me.
So good to see you.
Mr. Secretary, we are inside the cash room at the Treasury Department. It is almost impossible to overstate how important the work that is done in this building is to the U.S. financial system. Yet right now, there is widespread concern about the DOGE team's access to sensitive payment systems. Are you worried at all that that access and that tinkering of the payment systems could affect the Treasuries market or cause any disruption?
Good. Well, Saleha, thank you for asking me about that because there's a lot of misinformation out there. First of all, when you say the DOGE team, these are Treasury employees. It is 2 Treasury employees, one of whom I personally interviewed in his final round. There is no tinkering with the system. They are on read-only. They are looking. They can make no changes. It is an operational program to suggest improvement. So we make 1.3 billion payments a year. And this is 2 employees who are working with a group of long-standing employees.
The letter that the Treasury Department sent earlier this week talked about how the team currently does not have access to change the system. Have they at any point this year had the ability to make changes?
Absolutely not. This is no different than you would have at a private company. And by the way, the ability to change the system sits over at the Federal Reserve. So it doesn't even lie in this building. So they could make suggestions on how to change the system, but we don't even run the system.
And if they ask for, if they request the ability to change the system, would you grant that?
No, again, they have no ability to change the system. I have no ability to grant that change. That they can make suggestions, then it would go to the Federal Reserve, and just like any large ERP system, there would be tests, there would be this, there would be that, and then the Fed will determine whether these changes are robust or not.
As the Secretary of Treasury, you also oversee the IRS. Do you know what kind of access the team has to IRS data or individual taxpayer data?
Well, I'm glad you asked that too, because look, the IRS, the privacy issue is one of the biggest issues. And over the past 4 years, we've seen a lot of leaks out of there. The IRS systems are quite poor. When I started in college in 1980, I learned the program in COBOL. I think there are 12 different systems at the IRS that still run on COBOL, but as of now, there is no engagement at the IRS.
And if they request that access, would you sign off on that request?
They haven't, so we'll take that when it comes to it. I think there is a lot to do there, but the president was elected with a big agenda, and to the extent that getting the IRS in better shape is part of that, sure. Because look, with the IRS, what am I concerned about? I am concerned about collections. I'm concerned about privacy. And I'm concerned that the system is robust and customer service.
But do you think that if they ask for access, that is something you would consider signing off on?
There are a lot of things I'd consider, but look, we're in the middle of the tax filing season right now. We even, with the government buyouts that expire at midnight tonight, we have been mandated that the IRS customer-facing employees, that they're not eligible for that until May 15th. So I don't imagine anything's going to go on at the IRS until then or beyond.
So he clears up a couple items for us. First, that these Treasury, these DOGE employees are actually, a couple of them are already employees of the Treasury Department. So they already have the authority to access these materials. First of all. Second of all, he says they only have read access. They can't make any changes to the budget. They can't make any changes to any of the documentation. And he even points out multiple times, because the reporter didn't seem to understand it the first time that he explained it, that they don't even have the ability in that building to make those changes. Those changes to the payments are done in a different building at the Fed. And he makes that abundantly clear. In fact, he points out that he would not even be able to give authority to make those changes or to give somebody more than read-only access to these documents because it's not under his authority. And unlike the left, conservatives tend to act within their authority and try to follow the rules and guidelines and historical practices that have been established before their time. Okay? So that's pretty clear. Now, we got Maxine Waters, who is crazy leftist, and maybe, I don't know if she's going insane or she's always been like this. I know she's been like this for quite a while anyways. She's been, diagnosed with TDS for quite some time. But she's out harassing a security guard now in front of the Department of Education. So all these senators and other lobbyists, activists, whatever, are out protesting because they're trying to break into the Board of Education building for some reason. I don't really know why. It hasn't been made clear. But this security guard ain't having it. And, we all need a little bit of his mentality here to keep things under wraps.
Them in the eye. Come on, hold your face up. Look at him. Let him see you. This is him. Look at it. What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
Showed you the ID. I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the ID.
Could you let me see the ID again? Huh?
No.
No? Will someone else ask him for the ID? Will you ask him for it? He won't let me see it again. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. They didn't see it.
So I thought we called this harassment, abuse, whatever, like at least unprofessional. If this was somebody on the conservative side of the aisle, they'd be calling out all the stops, probably calling them Nazis or, whatever. An insurrection, actually, trying to break into a government building or being on the grounds for no reason. That's been called an insurrection before. So, I mean, I just have one thing to say about that.
How dare you!
The old Greta Thunberg. How dare you pull out that one? That's an oldie but a goodie. So these people are just unhinged. The TDS, and now we also have Elon derangement syndrome. So EDS is also out there too. Here is another clip. Donald Trump had a press conference today. He was asked about some of the things that DOGE is doing, and here's his response.
Well, it doesn't, but they get it very easily. I mean, we don't have very good security in our country, and they get it very easily. And what we're doing, if you look at what has just taken place with respect to some of the investments that have been made on another agency that people have been talking about for years, but nobody did anything about it, it's absolutely obscene, dangerous, bad, very costly. I mean, virtually every investment made is a con job. There's nothing of value to anybody unless there's a kickback scheme going on, which is possible. And we're going to be doing more and more of that. We're going to be looking at Department of Education. We're going to be looking at even our military. We're going to be looking at tremendous amounts of money, Peter, being spent on things that bear no relationship to anything and have no value. We're talking about trillions of dollars. It will be, in the end, trillions of dollars being absolutely wasted and perhaps illegally. I would say certainly in many cases illegally, but perhaps illegally overall. And I'm very proud of the job that this group of young people, generally young people, but very smart people, they're doing. They're doing it at my insistence. It would be a lot easier not to do it. But we have to take some of these things apart to find the corruption, and we found tremendous corruption.
You mentioned the Department of Education. What do you think when you saw Democratic lawmakers trying to get into the Department of Education earlier today?
Oh, I see the same ones. I see Maxine Waters, a lowlife. I see, all these people. They don't love our country. They don't love our country. We want great education. So they rank 40 countries in education. We're ranked dead last. But the good news is we're number one in one category. You know what that is? Cost per pupil. We spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. You look at Norway, Denmark, Sweden, various countries all up and down, Finland, China does very well in education. And then you look at us. We spend much more money than they do per pupil or any other way. But we spend much more money than they do, and yet we're ranked this year. Biden's last year, congratulations, Joe, we're ranked dead last. So what I want to see is education. Number one, I like choice. We all like choice. But beyond choice, long beyond choice, I want to see it go back to the states where great states that do so well have no debt. They're operated brilliantly. They'll be as good as Norway or Denmark or Sweden or any of the other highly ranked countries. They'll be, probably have 35 to 38 states will be right at the top.
So thanks to Newsmax for that clip. But there's so many good points that Trump makes here. It's hard to just stick to one. But, you get to talking about the education department. And of course, initially he's talking about the USAID and some of the things that have been found out. And he points out that, Elon's been working under his jurisdiction and reporting back to him and been doing great work. But the U.S. Department of Education, since it's been formed, I would love to see the trend line of where the United States matches up in education before the Department of Education was established and after. And I bet it would be a pretty steep downhill curve because, we aren't doing so well. Trump points out the only thing that we're doing well in education is spending a lot of money. And you see that especially in the bigger cities. And the funniest thing about it is you'll see the biggest spending in the cities where the attendance is the lowest and the output is also the lowest. So it's almost like an inverse curve. The more money you spend, the less results you get. And it's not that necessarily a cause and effect, but it is consistent. So you can at least, at the very least, say that the money you're spending is not, having a good outcome, at least the outcome that you're intending it to have. Here's Senator Kennedy also talking about some of the waste that's been going on.
Here's what I hope Rubio and Musk do. I would put together all this absurd spending into a booklet. I'd call a press conference, and in front of God and country and the corporate media,
and the USAID folks and my Democratic colleagues, I'd go over it, item by item by item, every bit of it. The DEI comic books, the transgender operas, the funding of gain-of-function research. I'd go over every bit of it and say, now, do you want to defend this?
And again, he makes some good points about the money, where it's going, and how it's not in the best interest of the taxpayer. You know, we've also found that $6 million of taxpayer money, not all of it from USAID as it was first reported, but there was $6 million at least going to one leftist news agency, which is Politico. And a lot of these were going for subscriptions. Some of these premium subscriptions are like $10,000 a year, which I do not understand what kind of special news you could get for $10,000. I mean, I get pretty good news off X for free. So, and if you want a blue check mark, you can pay like $100 a year. And that would be like, you know, pretty minimal compared to what they're spending. And still not necessary. I want to know, even if you're spending $10, say you're spending $100 a year for some of these members of government for premium access to news, whatever. How does a government employee reading the news benefit me as a taxpayer? That's what I want you to explain. In fact, that's what I want you to explain about all the expenditures that they're going into at the U.S. government at the federal level. Tell me how it benefits me as a taxpayer, because that's what it's supposed to be doing. So very interesting there. Here's a news report that's talking about a little bit more of the spending that they've found that has been cut at some of these departments. And I doubt we'll even notice.
Is making money. Charles Payne joins us now to take a look at a few of the cuts from this agency. This is very exciting. Think about this. He was inaugurated on the 20th, Charles.
Right.
And these are just the numbers that we've cut in the, 10 days?
It's called a whirlwind, and it's just getting started.
It is. Let's go through some of it. This is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Look how much we were spending. They had to cut almost $20 million. Department of Agriculture, Charles?
$110 million. Office of Personnel Management, $500 million. USAID, obviously, this is the one that's in the news right now.
Right.
Over $200 million.
Because Elon shut it down.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Listen, all of these things ostensibly were designed for good reasons or good intentions, but then they become cover. You ever ask yourself, where do all these folks who work in these administrations go after the administration's ousted? How do they still live in mansions after they're out of government?
What's the answer?
Well, a lot of it is these NGOs. A lot of these NGOs operate things that are funded by U.S. aid. And it's amazing. As we start to peel the layer of the onion, we're going to see people like, oh, I thought this person was a journalist.
Sending money to other countries. Serbian LGBTQ rights group, they got $1.5 million. Electric vehicles for Vietnam, $2.5 million. South African transgender HIV research, $30 million. Uganda LGBTQ rights group, $4 million, and Egyptian tourism, $6 million. And I heard on Sean's show last night, we gave, according to Eric Schmidt, our senator, $20 million to Sesame Street shows in Iraq.
Yeah. And again, a lot of this is pushing an alternative agenda, right? And Uganda has their own government. They have their own people. They have their own say.
Right.
They may not want us pushing LGBTQ in their country.
So you can see the waste is stacking up. And like you said, we're peeling back the onion, and I'm pretty sure we're only in the first couple layers. I mean, Elon Musk is working countless hours. We've seen that his team is working, 10 to 12, 17 hours a day to try some of this, find some of this waste and this abuse of government funds. And I have a feeling this is just the tip of the iceberg. We really haven't even scratched the surface yet. So now I talked about before that they've got Elon derangement syndrome. And it's so funny to see how they get so focused on something. And all they're trying to do is scare the general public into believing something that isn't true. The left, if they're good at one thing, is repeating a lie until everybody just assumes it's true because they've heard it so many times. And unfortunately, a lot of times this works. Well, I don't know if this one's going to catch on because they've gone a little off the deep end. Now they're concerned about a person who's working for Elon Musk who goes online by the name Big Balls. and he has some other jokey things going on. Here's a report from CNN trying to make you afraid of a guy with an online nickname. I mean, this is just great. Just too much.
He's a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside DOGE. And we looked into his background. And so we found, several notable things, Aaron, one of which is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.Sexy LLC, which he established in 2021. He would have been around 16 years old. Now, this LLC controls dozens of web domains.
So, Kara, you hear this, and you have known Elon Musk for years. So now you look at these young men who are now in data and in the private information about maybe hundreds of millions of American citizens as young as 19, the big balls here that Katie's talking about. Most of them are in their early 20s. There's an exception I'm going to get to in a minute. I'm curious, though, Kara, how well does even Musk know these young men, do you think?
I have no idea. I think there was no vetting whatsoever, as you can see, that's taking place. It took Katie and the really great team. Wired has done an astonishing job here. I could make a joke that's probably why he was hired for all this ridiculous nonsense and other nefarious things. But, there's an expression in technology. It's a feature, not a bug.
So she has a feeling that there's no vetting of these people at all. Well, I have a feeling that Elon knows how to pick smart people because they're finding all of your guys' hidden treasures for your friends and families. They're finding it, and they're working harder than you guys are to try to cover it up, which is why you guys can't keep up with the pace that they're taking. So that's my feeling. You get a feeling? I got a feeling. Great. We both have feelings. Congratulations. So there's somebody made a montage now of, all these politicians that have been outside the Treasury Department protesting and trying to rally people together. And you notice how close the shots of all these people have to be, usually telling you there's not really a lot of people there, but they want you to believe that there's a lot of people there. Okay. So pay attention to that. But they just took all the clips of them saying Elon Musk over and over again, just proving the derangement syndrome. And let's see who wins this competition.
Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk,
Elon Musk, Elon Musk,
Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk,
Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk,
Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, and Elon Musk, Elon Musk, and Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk,
Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk,
Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk,
Elon Musk, and Elon Musk,
Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk,
Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, or Elon Musk, Elon Musk,
Elon Musk.
Wow, they took that right into the darkness, man. It went on and on and on. But as painful as that one was, I think Elizabeth Warren takes the win. She said it more times than anybody else. In fact, she said it so many times, I can't imagine there were any other words in her speech. I think she just said Elon Musk a bunch of times. But the Elon Musk derangement syndrome, I'm not sure if we're going to call it just EDS or EMDS. Neither one of them has a really good ring to it. Not like TDS, but maybe if we say it enough times, it'll start to ring true. So they're just, this is their latest tactic, trying to make you believe in the oligarchy. The phrase of the year is oligarchy, this and that. They're trying to make everybody afraid that Elon Musk is going to take over the government or something like that. There was even a clip of somebody saying, oh, he's just doing this for the power. He's the richest person in the world. I do not think that he needs power. Like, he could literally go buy a piece of property wherever he wants and declare himself king. I mean, what does he need? He doesn't need to do this. He doesn't need perks or benefits. He's got anything he needs. It's like Donald Trump. I said, Donald Trump is the first person who's ever been president who the White House was a downgrade for him. And the Air Force One is also a downgrade from his personal plane. These people are doing things maybe a little bit for ego, to have some lasting historical positioning in the history books. But mostly they're doing it because they love the country. They know what it could be for everybody else, and they're just trying to make it better and be there for everybody who needs it so that others can benefit the way they did. I mean, I don't see any other hidden missions or side missions. So in other words, we got a bunch of leftist cities and states now who were sanctuary cities, and they're trying to protect dangerous illegal criminals who came across the border for some reason. And here's the ever so intelligent Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's a representative out of New York City. I don't know why they keep electing her, but it's not for a pretty face, in my opinion. But regardless, she says a bunch of crazy things. And here's her telling people how to protect illegal immigrants, the dangerous ones that ICE is going after right now, how to protect them from being caught by ICE and deported.
Principle number one in what you can do is that when one of these things comes to your backyard, you can resist. And what that happens over millions of people is that you generate enough friction that they cannot go as fast as they want to go, okay? So I'm going to give you some examples that have already been working. Let's start with immigration and ICE. When people say, what can we do? In my community, we are a heavily immigrant community. ICE raids deeply affect and disrupt our community. So, number one, if you live in a community with a lot of immigrants, know your rights. That's one tangible thing you can do that I want you to do. And that means know your rights if you are a US citizen as well. Okay? Here's one way that we're going to create some friction in this system. Tom Homan, who's directing a lot of these ICE operations nationally, etc., he went on TV practically crying. This dude was whining his ass off because ICE went into the city of Chicago and Chicago had prepared for them. Community organizers, activists, and their mayor and local elected officials who were solid on this issue, they educated the city on their legal rights. Because what ICE tries to do is that they rely on people not knowing their rights in order to enter buildings, in order to search workplaces, etc. So when you know your rights, you are able to tell them no, and they do walk away. What you can do is protect people around you and also make sure that you are slowing down this system. The slower they operate, the less they can break.
So she says that Tom Homan was crying like a baby about this. I don't know if you've seen any clips of Tom Homan, but he is one of the toughest, most badass government officials I think I've ever seen speak. I mean, the guy pulls no punches. I wouldn't go toe-to-toe with him. I'd be afraid of him just looking at me the wrong way. But regardless, I'm actually not afraid because I'm not illegal and I'm not doing things illegal. So I'm not really worried about it. And that's who he's going after. I'm also not dangerous. Also the people he's going after. But here's the clip that she's talking about him whining in, quote unquote whining. which is not whining, but telling people this is serious. People are going to get hurt. ICE officials are getting hurt, are going to get hurt. The people they're going after could get hurt. The people in between could get hurt. And, it's crazy. We're not messing around. We're coming for these people. We're going to get them. No matter what you do, try to protect them. You get in the way or not, put yourself in danger or not, we're going to get them. Here's that.
So many questions. First of all, if they're shouting and helping these people get away with bullhorns, how is that legal to get help from the people in the streets? I know they can protest, but that's not what they're doing.
You're exactly right. When they come to they cross the line of impediment, and that's why I'm working very close, starting this morning with Department of Justice, and where do they cross that line of impediment? So they may find themselves in a pair of handcuffs very soon. So working with DOJ on that, get some legal guidance on that. I'm not an attorney. I know what SecOps is about. I know what crossing that line is, but getting DOJ back up on that. So it's something we're looking at right now, Harris. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. This is not a game. When we show up these sites, this is a dangerous job for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol and all the DOJ agencies. To have that type of interference puts our officers at great risk. Not only the officers, it puts the aliens at great risk because anything can happen when we take our eyes off the goal here. So we're addressing that immediately today. I'm addressing OPSEC today, operational security, how these leaks are happening. We've already identified how this operation got leaked. I'll deal with that today.
So he makes it clear that people impeding these arrests are causing trouble, and he figured out where the leak is within one day. They couldn't figure out where some of these Supreme Court cases got leaked out in weeks. And they couldn't find out where the cocaine in the White House came from, even though we know where it came from without even doing investigation. But he's already figured out where his leak is in his organization, probably a carryover from the Biden administration. So it narrows the list down a little bit. But he's figured it out, and they're going to put an end to it. Here's Pam Bondi, the newly sworn in U.S. Attorney General. And she says that we're going after those sanctuary cities, and that what's really happening is those sanctuary cities and states are, for some reason, and this is one of the things I've said too, they're protecting the illegal criminals, dangerous people, over their citizens. The citizens paying taxes, working hard, trying to make a living for their own families, and they're defending these illegal criminals over them. They're prioritizing defending the illegal criminals over their own citizens. I mean, it's hard to believe, but this is what's happening, and people need to wake up and realize that these people aren't to be pitied or feel bad for. These are illegal, dangerous criminals that are on the streets, and their government is protecting them. Here's Pam Bondi.
Let me start with you've cracked down on sanctuary cities. The DOJ has put a pause on all federal funding to sanctuary cities and states. You filed a lawsuit against Chicago and the state of Illinois for being a sanctuary city. Am I wrong in my interpretation that a sanctuary city is aiding and abetting in lawbreaking?
Sean, what they're doing is they are choosing illegal aliens over the safety and security of their own citizens and the men and women of law enforcement who are out there trying to protect their citizens. Not only did we sue today the city of Chicago, we sued the state of Illinois, we sued the mayor, we sued the governor, and we sued others. And let me be very clear, if you don't comply with federal law, you're going to be next.
So that's a strong statement from our new Attorney General, and it's really good to hear that we finally have some competency back in this position. You can tell that, like I said, meritocracy is back in the White House. We are starting to win again. It feels so good to win again. It makes me feel like this.
And we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Well, I am not tired of winning. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not tired of winning yet. It feels good. I hope we continue to feel this way. And I appreciate you listening to another edition of Spark the Conversation. Don't forget to go out and volunteer for something meaningful. And you can also spark the conversation. We'll see you tomorrow.